Yo, what's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Tallanasty podcast. I'm your host, Adonis, today accompanied by my friend Blaise. Blaise, how are you today?
What's going on, everybody? Yo, I'm doing real good. It's your boy Blaise.
All right, and with that, let's let the intro play. It is Friday, so we are gonna go to the fucking club. Saturday, we're going to the fucking club. Sunday, fun day, go to the fucking club. Monday is Labor Day, so we're gonna go to the fucking club. Black Tech Tuesday, go to the fucking club. White Trash Wednesday, go to the fucking club. 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 Club. So what are we doing today? We're currently watching the NFL games. It's the Eagles versus Falcons. We're eating a mixture of DP dough and Brickhouse pizza. And yeah, we're just chilling out. I gotta say, that's one thing that I love about podcasting. A lot of people don't know this, but a lot of times when I'm recording my podcast or editing it, I'll be like eating or playing a video game or just multitasking because all I'm doing really is talking.
And that's why I think it's so smooth, bro, because it flows, it's conversational, and when you're doing something, you have a subject matter, you have content, and that's what people want. Like, when they're listening to this podcast, they're doing the same thing, chilling. When I'm listening to this podcast, that's what I'm doing. The same thing I'm doing now.
Chilling, having a good drink, whatever rocks your boat. But that being said, what subject do you think we should start off of today?
Well, shoot, bro. I can tell you right now, I'm smoking some gas, courtesy of INSA, Cannabis Dispensary on Tennessee Street next to the Strip.
I think I've heard of that place.
Yeah, they're fire, bro. This is called Cap Junkie. It was their strongest pre-roll, coming in at 23%. Yeah, we're live. We're out here smoking, watching the Eagles game. Right now, Jalen Hurts is struggling a little bit. They turned it over on downs on the goal line. It was atrocious. We saw that at Brick House when we were leaving Brick. So for those of you who have never been to Brick House, we're recorded right now at the Row, formerly known as the Onyx, across the street from Potbelly's. Brick is right there on the corner, opposite of DP Dough. So I definitely encourage you guys to check it out. Like I said, we're watching the Eagles game. That's where I'm from, Philadelphia. Very Italian community. I would have to say that as an Italian, I approve Brickhouse's food, bro. Their pasta, their pizza is delicious. I went for the cheesesteak once, but they weren't serving it. They were serving brunch, so I missed out on that. I still got to judge that. But the pizza's phenomenal. I think that there's a handful of good pizza spots in Tally. I think Momo's is pretty good. Everybody knows Momo's. Of course, they're famous for the big pies. I think that's great for like a family environment. You can take your family there and have a good time. And I kind of enjoy Brooklyn Pizza on Pensacola. I don't know if they're still open. I haven't been there in a while, only because, honestly, ever since I ate Brick House, this is the pizza I eat.
I mean, here are my top 3 pizza picks in Tallahassee. Number 1 is DP Dough, which, they're technically calzones, but it's the same formula. I also like Gain Street Pies and Munchie's Pizza.
Dude, I forgot about Gain Street. I don't know how I forgot about Gain Street because I've been living on and off in Tally for a while now. And I remember when they first opened, before they even remodeled, when the owner was still cooking pizzas. I think he was working behind the bar sometimes too. And I went there one day after getting a haircut on Gain Street. And the food was phenomenal. This must have been in 2013 or 2014. Maybe even 2012. I think it was 2013 in the spring, actually. My dad used to own a pizzeria in St. Augustine, Florida. Yes. It was pretty successful. Won some awards. He sold it and got out. Moved to St. Petersburg.
And also the fact that you are from Philadelphia. I've heard that Philadelphia and New York are the top 2 states with the best pizzas.
Yeah, a lot of people have a high regard for Philadelphia pizza. It is very delicious. Obviously, that's where I'm from. New York is a little bit, more known. Their style, crispy, thin, no flop, well done. Chicago is well known, but they have an entirely different, pie. Jersey pies are all right. I wouldn't say that they're as good as Philly pies. Maybe in the northern area towards New York, but like the Boardwalk and the Jersey Shore pizzas, they're all right. Connecticut is known for their pizzas too, I think. Maybe somewhere in the New England area, they have well-known pies, but I'm pretty sure theirs are like more sweet and a little bit different. I think they cook them a little bit different. In St. Augustine, we have a pizzeria named Amici's, and it's owned by a guy from Connecticut, and he's got a good pie, but it's not exactly New York style, But Philadelphia, tremendous pies, can't go wrong. So Munchies, I haven't eaten yet, but I used to be a manager at a sandwich shop, and I'm not going to really mention any names, but the guy I was working with, he was my immediate boss. He used to manage a pizzeria, and I asked him what he thought was the best pizza in Tallahassee, and he said he liked Munchies Pizza, which obviously I knew that he was talking more for like, late night, something, smoke up, eat the pizza, it's fire. But it is not a traditional New York style.
Oh, right, yeah, but it's funny that you say that because, Blaise and I used to work together, so I know what he's talking about. And Munchies is at the heart of, it's on the opposite end of College Town. When you think College Town, you think mostly Recess, Madison Social, Township, that area. But what a lot of people don't realize is on Tennessee Street, like part where the Strip is and Bullwinkle's, that's technically College Town too.
Kind of. I would
like
say that's more towards like Midtown, but it's more I would just call that like campus.
Like for me, it's like the outskirts of College Town. Like when I refer to College Town, I'm talking about from the Strip all the way to Baja's, all the way to Recess.
Nah. I mean, maybe not. Well, kind of ish, because now they're putting like these student apartments everywhere.
Exactly.
So you got them on the other side of Tennessee now. You got them over there on Chapel Drive, over towards Baja's. You got like all these new places everywhere. On St. Augustine Street now, they're everywhere. But like really, College Town originally was really just like Madison and Gaines. Like between like Copeland and Woodward.
I mean, where we're at now, because we're on College Avenue, which I consider part of College Town as well, because not only is Potbelly's here, but a lot of the frats are on the street as well. Additionally, this road leads you right to Westcott Fountain and the rest of campus.
Yeah, this road is lit. That's why I picked to live here. It's really in the heart of anything. I can get anywhere I want, very quickly. And I can walk anywhere. One thing I wanted to mention, because it reminded me, my freshman year, I lived at Dorman Hall. My roommate, he was an ATO before they got kicked off. So Alpha Tau Omega, they were a pretty well-known fraternity. I think they might be the largest fraternity nationally. I'm not really sure about that. But one thing he mentioned to me back in the day, and it always stuck with me, and I usually fuck with bitches about it because they kind of don't really know. They always say frat, frat, frat. But unless I'm like seeing somebody, I'm like, yo, this kid's a frat star. Like, I might say that. But I was always told, refer to it as a fraternity, not as a frat. Because you wouldn't call your country a cunt. So that's always what I was told.
It's a double meaning right there.
I always thought that was pretty funny. And honestly, forgive me for using that word. I know that's kind of profane. I normally don't use that word. And you wouldn't call your country that. You wouldn't say that.
Now,
so
here's the thing.
So that's the whole purpose behind it.
Here's the thing. My listeners are probably used to it by now because I use every curse word in the book, including that one, on a regular basis.
That's probably the worst curse word.
It probably is, and that's also why I use it.
I'll have to say this. The Eagles, sometimes, they remind me of Florida State. The way that they look terrible at times. I like Jalen Hurts. I think he makes great plays. I know you might not know the most about the NFL, but for the people listening, Devontae Smith just made a great grab. You had to surround Jalen Hurts with one of the best O-lines of football. They got Landon Dickerson, who, of course, went to Florida State, finished at Alabama. Then you surround him with Saquon Barkley, who's probably the best running back in the NFL. Devontae Smith won a Heisman Trophy. A.J. Brown, who, when he was with DK Metcalf at Ole Miss, they were disgusting. They were incredible. So, that's a lot of talent to put on one offense to make the quarterback look good. I really need to see Jalen Hurts make more reads, get the ball out faster, and he's putting the ball in the hands of his playmakers, and I like that, but I think he's got a good attitude, and he's coachable, and those are good things, but you want to see that next step. You want to see somebody make the pinpoint throws, the Patrick Mahomes plays. I don't think Jalen Hurts is quite there. I'm being honest. I'm just an Eagles fan. I hate to say these things, but I'm a sports fan. Like, Philadelphia fans are rabid sports fans. And to be honest about, the truth of the matter here, I would like to see some improvement from Hurts. I think we struggled last year after our Super Bowl loss, partially because of him. And as a leader, you got to step up. And that's the problem with Florida State football right now, bro. We have no quarterback.
Yeah, well, there's GJ, which is a joke of a quarterback. So, on the subject of football, let's talk about that a little bit. Let me start with the NFL, because for me, I don't really follow it. Thanks. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, so obviously I grew up watching the Jags. Now, every time I watch one of their games, they always lose. I eventually just forgot about them and started focusing on the Seminoles and more college football. Additionally, I noticed that the NFL started to get way too political, which I'm not saying whose side I'm on. All I'm saying, they say the two things in life that will ruin a conversation are politics and religion. And when I'm watching my football game, I'm there for the game, not for the politics, whether they're Democratic or Republicans. Additionally, I don't like how they keep shoving Taylor Swift in our faces. And this is where my hate for Taylor Swift really began, because before, I didn't really care for her. It was just another pop star. Then next thing you know, she's with this guy from the Chiefs, and she's all up in our faces. And then all these white blonde girls across the world started their own little Swiftie.
Yeah, that was a total marketing grab.
Oh, absolutely.
They did that to make millions, to have girls talking about football.
Absolutely.
Except
girls
waitresses
aren't
at
talking
my
about
job
football.
talking about Travis Kelce. My sisters were talking about Travis Kelce.
I had predicted from day one, though, that she was eventually going to dump him and write a song about him, because that's all she does. If she sleeps around with a bunch of different men, then makes a living off of writing a song about them and embarrassing them publicly, but then she claims that she's not a 30-something-year-old slut and that she's not the problem.
She definitely made a lot of songs off, breakups. And she definitely capitalized off young girls and their feelings and stuff. Now she's older, so it's kind of like the Drake thing, dude. Like, there's no maturity out of Drake's music. Like, that's why Kendrick's coming at Drake right now. He's like, dude, you're corny, you're 30-something, you're rapping like you're still a young bull, and you're an old head, and where's the growth? Where's the advancement, the progression, the maturity, the leadership? You have a son now. You know what I mean? Like, you're black, Drake, So there's things going on right now that you could be rapping about that are more serious than the pretentious things and the, glitz and the glamour and the flash. It's kind of not the most authentic. And that's kind of what Kendrick's saying, right? About Drake. And I feel like you can kind of say the same thing about Taylor Swift, because really over the years, she's been putting out banger after banger after banger. No one's doubting that. Her and The Weeknd are like unstoppable. Her, The Weeknd, Justin Bieber, they put anything out, it's doing billions of numbers, right? But if you think about it, since 2014, I don't know, really when her music started getting real popular, it really hasn't changed at all. So now here we are 10, 15 years later. I don't really know when she first came out, but her songs are still the same. They're all the same basic melodies, same content, my heart broke, whatever. And so, like, people want to see more than that. I mean, I guess it's selling and selling and selling, but she's 30-something now. So and she sounds like a 22-year-old.
Exactly.
So,
and someone said, I think they said it was Carrie Underwood, is the same age as Taylor Swift, and she has a husband and a family and kids, while Taylor Swift, same age, and mentally she's still in middle school, the way she talks and what she sings about.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
And I've seen that very often in girls these days. They always say that guys mature slower than girls. But lately, especially with sorority chicks, I've noticed they all seem to be stuck in middle school too. Like they're grown women. Like they make Barbie their whole life's a philosophy and all these other fictional characters, or they worship stars like Taylor Swift or Sabrina Carpenter. And I'm like, y'all really are just a bunch of 12-year-olds in a grown woman's body. Like, y'all still dress like teenagers, talk like middle schoolers, and you're grown. You're in your early 20s.
And like, I know it's so easy to be critical and it's so easy to scrutinize. Really, if you're trying to be a leader, then the whole idea is to lead someone without shaming them or judging them or scolding them or hounding them. So when you're trying to really like make a change or whatever, yes, you can point out these negative things, but you don't want to like be negative about it. That's kind of one thing I've learned. Even though like negativity definitely grabs attention, catches ears and everything, and it can get the reaction sometimes that you need. Sometimes it can even be, in some exceptional circumstances, a little bit necessary. But ultimately, you're not trying to judge people, bro. When you see disappointment in people, when you're disappointed in people, when you feel disappointment in people or whatever, it's not because you think you're better than them. It's because you think that they can be better than they are.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not from a position of hate. It's not from a position of negativity, but it's so easy to interpret it that way, especially if, you're not careful with your words. So, you have controversial, opinionated ideas. So being on that side of the polarity, hold on, touchdown, let's go. Jalen Hurts, that's what I needed to see. Devontae Smith. I know people put anytime touchdown on Devontae Smith tonight. My boy wanted me to, but I didn't want to gamble tonight. They say, speaking of gambling, they say Floridians spend more money on sports gambling than investments.
That is crazy.
Floridians probably lose more money gambling than they do on investments, especially because in Florida, the casinos, they're on the Native American land, right?
Right.
And those places, they don't even have restrictions. They could rig the whole thing, and it wouldn't even matter. Everybody knows casinos are rigged, but out there, they don't even have any laws. And I saw that on a video earlier today on Instagram, and I was thinking about that. We're out here at the casinos all the time in Fort Lauderdale, and then we go on the Hard Rock on our phone, and we're donating, throwing money away. You could take that same money. They taught me in a critical thinking class when I was 17 years old about compound interest. Honestly, this is the realest thing in the whole podcast, but real can be boring. It doesn't grab. That's what I was getting at earlier. Like, you can use negativity to, capture people's attention, but if you're trying to highlight it, but when you're trying to correct it, in order to correct it, like, you can't absorb that negativity and then inflict it back out. You can't get super judgmental, super critical, or abrasive, because then people are just going to shut down,
Yep.
So if you're really trying to just prove your point, just for like the sake of proving your point, then like, yeah, people are going to get it. If you're just outright with it, they'll get it. And it might make them eventually change, and they might remember how you were like outright with it. But if you're really trying to like navigate and guide like an actual progression, like there's a maturity involved. You know what I mean? So like when we're calling out behavior, because I don't like it, right? Like I want to have a daughter one day. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be worse than it is now. We got 2024 rules, bro. That old school shit, it don't even work like that no more. my mom, God rest her soul, was confused when I would be trying to explain to her how things work now. You know what I mean? So, and that's real. So, yeah, man, you know, you want to just be the best you can be. And then you want to encourage other people to be the best they can be. So, like, yeah, you can call people out, like, hey, like, you're slacking or whatever. But at the end of the day, you got to do it in a way where you're inspiring them, you know, to want. You can do anything that you want to do. You know, there's a lot of things that people can be good at, and people want to do things because they think that they're just good at it. But you have to want to, like you're good at podcasting. But you have to want to make these episodes. You have to want to have a conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah, one thing I've noticed about my podcast is, this is kind of funny. It seems to be mostly male-oriented. Like, it honestly shocks me whenever I do hear a girl say that she likes my podcast. Because they all hate it because they think I'm misogynist or whatever for saying the things that I say. And, you know, maybe it's the way I say it because I'm very blunt when I say these things. But every man that has listened to my podcast has told me that I'm saying things they wish they could say, but they're afraid to because they're afraid that girls are going to hate on them and that, you know, they're not going to get any bitches. And I can tell you this from my own experience. When you piss off one girl, you don't just piss her off, you piss off her entire friend group.
Well, yeah, especially around here, all these girls are in sororities. A lot of them know each other, so their sisterhood is strong, just like we value brotherhood, you know? So, yeah, you know, they tell each other, hey, he's trouble, you know what I mean, or whatever. Like, ew, don't hang out with him, whatever they say. I don't, you know. You don't want to sound like Andrew Tate, you know what I mean? But even the things he says, a lot of them have some basis. And he delivers it on a deliberately provocative way. And he does that in order to garner attention, right? To get that engagement, to get the message spread more. And so, you know, it can be, like I said earlier, it's an effective way to create that shock value. Because, you know, a lot of people, they don't want to be confrontational, right? They don't want to be direct. You could be direct. You can hit them with a 4 or 5 word sentence, and they'll act like they're still going to tap dance around what you said. So, like, at that point, you got to know that they're pretty much implicitly telling you, you know, everything you need to know. So with those types of people, you already know they're not playing real. So, like, and even if it's not real, like, at least be realistic. You know what I mean? Like, we could be playing a little bit of a game, but at least, you know, be realistic with it. It don't gotta be entirely real. Like, I don't have to like a girl like that. We could just be talking. But let's just say that, yo, like, for instance, bro, catfish on Tinder, bro. This is gonna be hilarious. One time, long time ago, girl came over, catfish, bro. You know what I'm saying? Unrealistic. You know what I'm saying? I made her get me some Guthries because, you know, had to do something. But at least if it would have been like a good-looking girl, that would have been realistic, right? Like, at least I think it's a fair trade. But that don't mean we got to be, like, entirely real because we're still young. We're still trying to have fun. There's entertainment involved. There's stages. There's levels, you know? And that's how it is now. It used to be you go out, you get to know each other, maybe you're friends first, then you fuck. Now it's like you fuck first, then decide like if they're worth like being friends with.
Oh yeah, I've noticed that our culture has changed a lot.
You can meet a girl and an hour later, and this isn't like to disparage girls, you know what I'm saying? Like, an hour later, you could be hooking up with her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's today's society. And hey, I am not against that. I'd rather hook up with a girl in an hour than, you know, get to know her over the period of 6 months than finally hook up with her.
Yeah, like, why would I string you along and lie to you? Unless I can tell that that's what you want. In which case, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to give you what you want. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's messed up, man. Like, it's almost like these days you almost have to be a playboy in order to have their respect. They feel like if you're not a playboy, then why wouldn't you be a playboy? They feel like it's because you can't be. And they feel like who wouldn't want, like, a bunch of pussy or something, you know? Like, and that's where we're divided, man. Like, you know, Jesus is real, you know? And when you tell people that, they admit it. But when you think about the way we live, it's not really along those lines, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, that's kind of what I was saying earlier about if you really want to make a change, if you're really trying to get your point across, you know, there are ways to get to people. But with girls also, though, like, bro, let's be real, it's like a roller coaster. Like, men, we operate on testosterone. You know, they don't. Like, they menstruate or whatever. I don't even know, like, how they work. You know what I'm saying? So, their lives are totally different. You know what I'm saying? You get on that roller coaster, bro, it's up and down, side to side. You don't even know which way is going next. You know?
You know.
I'm not an engineer. I don't know how roller coasters work. Imagine not even understanding how you work. You know what I'm saying? And just having these feelings and not even be able to explain them. Because when you talk to girls and you really try to get down to it, some of them will be real with you. And they'll tell you, like, yo, I don't even know why. Like, I literally don't even know. It's just, that's just what it is type shit.
It's very rare that you'll find someone who's above, say, 22 in college town. But when you do, male or female, the maturity level is such a difference.
Yeah, for sure. There's graduate students in Tallahassee, but they don't really hang out in, like, college town. I don't think. I haven't met that many.
It seems, you know what I've noticed, too? A lot of my friends, when they turn 21, they started going to 21 in up bars like Township and Bullwinkles.
Yeah, Township, Bulls, all the better spots.
And they've said that it's such a difference from, like, say, Recess or Pop Ellie's,
that
they don't even want to go to another 18 and up club again.
Absolutely not.
Because what happens is, you know, you get all these freshmen who don't know how to act around other people.
You get Leon High in there, bro. You get high school kids at Recess.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And, you know, you get all these people who don't know how to act, and, you know...
I mean, there's plenty of spots that are way newer than those spots. Like, bro, Clyde's, Warehouse, Recess, those places have been around forever. And, like, I mean, that's cool, but they're fucking dirty, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I wanted to go somewhere that's been around forever, I could go to Bulls, I could go to Palace, I go to Potbelly's. Once in a while, I can walk all the way up the hill to Clyde's or Standard or Warehouse if I wanted to, but why? You know what I'm saying? Like, that place used to pop, like, 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Clyde's is even older than that, like, way older. You know what I'm saying? There's new spots in Sally that are dope that you can go to, like Bowden's, Township, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I will say out of the three, I do like Warehouse because of their lighting and their lasers. Clyde's, I actually haven't been to Clyde's in over a year. I'm not really a fan of it because their lighting there is terrible. Like, you can barely see anything like that. It's almost like...
I was going to say, I like it there in happy hour when the sun's still out.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even think about the lighting, but it's funny you said that because that's what I was going to say. I like Clyde's at happy hour on Friday when the sun's still out.
Yeah, because you can actually see, but most times when you go into Clyde's, it's almost like going to a haunted house. And, you know, something about walking into a haunted house with pop music blasting in your ear, it's not the right vibe, you know what I mean?
Right,
so
I feel you.
I kind of stuck to Recess and Warehouse. Recess is very unique because it's the only club with a rooftop pool. Personally, I think they could be doing a lot more with that club, you know. They could turn it into like a restaurant, have it open at, say, 4 or 5 o'clock. You go up there, watch the sunset from a rooftop pool, and then at nighttime, they turn it into a club.
They could do more, for sure, but they're already making the money that they want, and they're happy the way they're making it, so. But yeah, like, that would be a fire idea. Imagine being up there, got shit. It could be casual or it could be nice, like fine dining, but semi-casual fine dining, like tablecloth, you know what I mean? Like nice stuff, mimosas, you know?
Yeah.
It could be something dope. But I don't know, bro. I don't know if like Tally would really necessarily go for that. Like people really go for like the rager, the cheap, spend less money route. real quick, the Eagles are playing great goal line defense right here. It's 4th and goal. Going into halftime, 9 seconds. The Falcons are going to take a field goal here, so the Eagles are going to preserve the lead. I think Mike Norvell did some dumb shit in week 1. He went for the field goal right before half, like Atlanta's about to do. And then when we got the ball back after half, on 4th down, on the first drive in the second half, we were supposed to make our second half adjustment and come out swinging. We end up fucking going for it and turning it over. It would have made more sense to go for the touchdown before halftime and whiff on that. And then at least in the second half, when you got the ball back, punted it and played defense and took the conservative route then, rather than take the 3 points from the fucking 10-yard line and then come back in the second half and then go for it on 4th down. What was the point of being conservative before halftime? I think that the Seminoles, man, going overseas is always a challenge. I knew that was going to be an issue for us.
That was just unnecessary, too.
Well, I really think, and I want to get into this, ESPN, they did that to us to fuck us over, bro. So, going overseas is difficult. When Thursday Night Football first came out in the NFL, Richard Sherman and a lot of guys, they were criticizing it because it put a lot of players on a short, condensed week. You went from playing on Sunday, now you're playing again on Thursday, 4 days later. And then after that, they usually let you play on Monday night. So now you're not playing again for 10 days. Then after that Monday, then you're playing again on the next Sunday, or you got a bye week. It just makes everything disjunct and incongruent and discombobulated. And they do it for money. The Philadelphia Phillies, the baseball team, they have 90 wins right now. First team to 90 wins. I think they were the first team to 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 wins all year long. Bryce Harper's really trying to bring a World Series home. Shout out Bryce. The Phillies, when they went overseas to London back, I think, in June, they were the best team. They had the best record in baseball by a couple games. And they went to London. It's hard to go overseas. You come back. You think about being jet lagged. It's hard enough for teams from Canada and Toronto to come and play in Miami, for instance. You're talking about going to another continent. The Eagles just came back from Brazil. That's where they played, last week. We haven't played since forever ago. And so that's another thing. It's all discombobulated, bro. As far as and that's kind of the status of Florida State football right now. As far as we go, Mike Norvell's been making some bad decisions. And not even just with game planning. I mean, you could be critical of some of his 4th down decisions. Some of his play calling is way too east and west. I know the offensive line is kind of abysmal. It reminds me a bit of 2018, 2019 with Taggart. Ultimately, it comes down to the fact that Norvell never recruited anybody to replace Jordan Travis.
Yes, you know what? I didn't even think about that. I've been so focused on hating DJ, our quarterback, that I didn't even think about that. Jordan Travis was our best player. And had he not, broken his foot last season, we probably would have won, because when Jordan Travis was still in, we won every single game. And we won the game after that. It was only the very last game of the season that we lost. And honestly,
no one played in that game.
Exactly. I think what it was is the committee kept fucking us over. And so the football team is like, what the fuck are we playing for? We put in all this hard work. And that could also be another reason why we're losing this year.
It is.
There's that momentum from last year of putting in so much hard work. We're all taught in school by our parents that hard work pays off. Last year we put in this hard work to, we won. We were the fucking champions. We were on top of the world. Only for the committee to come and throw it all away. And they never gave us a reason why they did that either. It's like they have some hatred for the Seminoles for some reason.
They don't really like us, I'll be honest, ever since Bobby Bowden and then Jameis Winston. They have never really liked us. We won the title in 2013. That was totally against the script. We won the last BCS. One of the very few non-SEC teams. Ohio State won. But who else outside of the SEC has really won a national title? You know what I mean? Hardly anybody. I guess Clemson had got one, or maybe they even got 2, I think. But fucking UGA, Alabama. It's like one of them fucking wins every fucking year.
And additionally, what I will say, a lot of my friends have said that they've seen DJ and his teammates out partying at the clubs. the night before they're supposed to play a game.
Terrible.
And
Horrible.
I understand the whole go to the fucking club mentality, but it has to end to an extent. Because if you actually do take the whole go to the fucking club mentality too seriously, guess what? You're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your house. It's going to cause a snowflake effect, or domino effect, I should say.
Oh, yeah, man. You got to have your life in order.
Exactly,
but here's the thing,
Because if you're too drunk to go to work and you lose your job because of it and you can't pay your bills, guess what? You're not going to be going to the fucking club when you're living on the street.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. You got to teach responsibility. And that's the thing about football. It's a game that's way bigger than the game, way bigger than the sport. It's a game, that involves life skills that you carry and you build on, forever. And so it used to be, when Coach Fisher first took over from Coach Bowden, Coach Fisher was able to recruit so well, be able to say, hey, we're coming back to our heyday. Come to Florida State. We got the best athletes in the country here in Florida. And, come to Florida State. We're going to go undefeated and win a national title. And you're going to go to the NFL. And we had 3 first-round quarterbacks drafted in a row: Ponder, Manuel, Winston. And it kind of reminds me, the reason I'm critical of Norvell with not replacing Travis is because that's kind of why Fisher lost his job. Fisher never replaced Winston. We had that kid Malik Henry, who was supposed to be good, 5-star, who ended up not coming here. He was on that Netflix show, Last Chance U or whatever. And then we ended up getting a bunch of transfers. We got Everett Golson. We got, I don't know if we recruited Francois, but Travis was a transfer. Great transfer. But we haven't recruited, that position very well. Rodemaker left. Duffy left. Back in the day, we had this kid, Constantino. But they all left. James Blackman. Everyone's shouting to put the freshman in. I forget his name. When they put in James Blackman a couple years ago when he was a freshman, he was a great talent. Great arm. Great athlete. But just threw him in against Alabama because Francois got hurt way too soon, way too fast. Never really recovered from it. I think Blackman was a good recruit. But other than that, man, I can't think of Florida State really having a great quarterback at the recruit. And that's what separates us. We always have good rushers. We always have good defensive rushers as well. But we never have the quarterback anymore. And that's why we were undefeated with Travis. Of course, he, had some growing pains as well. So right now we're going through those growing pains again. People are saying Brock Glenn. Dude, they put in Brock Glenn, we're going to embarrass that kid. And he already has a good reputation as a Knoll. He came in, won the game last year, did everything he was asked to do. But that was a struggle. Our defense won that game. And Lawrence Tall-Philly won that game for us. And Tatum Bethune. And of course the entire team too. Jared Verse and Brandon Fisk played out of their mind. But, we lost a lot of defenders. Renardo Green, Jarian Jones. We lost good players, linebackers, and Alabama, Georgia, these teams, Texas, they got 5 stars on the bench, bro. Johnson, who was one of our best players, was a recruit. He just got hurt. Prayers up for him. He was the best player on Florida State. He came here because he didn't play at Georgia. He was the worst player on Georgia. Not really, but, he couldn't play. Their defensive line was so deep. He came here and was our best player. Went to the NFL and is a stud. But we just don't have that depth. Then we got this exodus of seniority. And then plus, I think Norvell does say the right things. Hey, play hard. Do the right thing. Be there for your teammate. Prepare. Everything, 1 week at a time. All these things that are, you're supposed to say and you're supposed to do. And then you go undefeated and you get left out of the playoff. So I think some of these kids felt some of that, like you were saying, remainder effect of lingering from coach was saying these things, but he said that last year. We went undefeated last year. We were better last year than we are this year, and it didn't even matter. So I think some of the kids that are left, they might have that little bit of discouragement, disheartenment.
And that could also be why, maybe DJ has that same mentality of what's the point? Like, winning doesn't seem to matter like it did last year. And he's just like, this is without me knowing him personally. He could just be like, fuck it, let me go down a bottle of whiskey at the bar or whatever.
Dude, he's here to party. He's here to make his money for 1 year. Like Keon Coleman came here for 1 year. Great. He's a great pro, great athlete, and helped us tremendously last season. But we need the Kenny Shaws of the world, the Rashad Greens of the world. And honestly, I'll say that the problem with Florida State goes way back. I would say, back to the year after we won the title. Because in 2013, we were smacking teams. We were winning like 50 to fucking 0. It would be like 40 to fucking 0 in the first half. They would take Winston out, put the backups in the second half, and we would still kick ass. We were that good. The year after that, we were still really good. But kids were partying. I'm not going to mention no names, but I used to see the football team out at the bars all the fucking time. And we still ended up winning 14 more games, but we lost to Oregon in the Rose Bowl. We got smacked up. Dalvin Cook ended up protecting us the next few seasons after that, but we never had the quarterback. Let's just say our current running back is not Dalvin Cook. He fumbled on the first play. And you can't do that. You can't turn the ball over. More teams find ways to lose than find ways to win, okay? In college, it's a little bit different than the NFL because in college, these are kids. And, they got 4 years apart. And those 4 years are very formative years where you can grow a lot in those 4 years. But once you get to the NFL, man, the talent gap, it's like you might have some average teams. We get it. There's average teams. But in the NFL, any team can win on any week because it all just depends on who plays better. So in college, you look at Florida State, they're beating themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. We're just flat out, no, we're not playing better. We're playing worse than the other team. It's not. I wouldn't even say Memphis played better than us. They had -1 rushing yards in the first half. And I think DJ, he's just trying to make his money. He's not going to be a good professional quarterback. He might go play XFL or something, make a couple $100,000. He's just trying to make his college money. But this issue that we see right now of kids just wanting to come here, make their money, go to the league, make more money. They're not invested in one another. They're not invested in brotherhood. They're not invested in Garnet, Gold, at Florida State, Tallahassee. I would say FAMU could probably walk into Doak Campbell Stadium right now and defeat the Seminoles.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Their quarterback's way better than ours.
And someone was saying to me yesterday, she's like, at this point, Florida State's worse than the fucking Jaguars in Jacksonville.
Well, I mean, yeah, the Jags are pretty fucked up. I mean, dude, they're a horrible organization. Follow.
Dude, I'm so done with Jacksonville. I went there earlier this year. It's changed so much since I was 16, 17 years old. Honestly, just fuck that place. I was listening to a new episode of the Cooked podcast. Brand new podcast started by DJ Zeus, David Dibble, who, by the way, designed the cover art for the Tallanasty podcast, and their friend Lindo. And let's just say it's really about Tallahassee. So let's just say they're me, but the opposite of me. They're the good guys. And they were talking about DJ and about our team. And one of them said, DJ is so hated, he can't even walk into DP Dough and get a calzone.
No way. No fucking way.
And when he said that, I was like, you know what? You're right.
Is that true?
Well, no, it was more of a figure of speech. But they're probably right that, if
I believed it.
If he did walk to DP Dough, people probably start throwing trash at him because really there is not a single person in this city who likes DJ.
DJ is a bitch, quite honestly. You could probably hit him with a tomato. Florida State football or FAMU football?
Florida State.
Florida State? Even right now? I see you rocking out with the loyalty, my boy. I respect that.
I am embarrassed to be a Florida State fan right now, but I also have a lot of hate towards FAMU, so...
Okay. Wait, what? You would care to elaborate on that?
Absolutely. So, I've noticed, we've all noticed that FAMU students, they all seem to be black. And when I moved here, I did some digging into it. And so I've heard that the people who run this school will literally reject your application based on your skin color because they want it to be like an all Black history kind of school. And obviously they can't say that because, it's illegal to not let someone into your establishment based on race or ethnicity. So obviously they're not going to admit to that. But from what I've heard online, it seems like the people who run that school are a little corrupt. Additionally, I've noticed that, I met a couple of FAMU students that seem like nice, reasonable people. But a majority of them, they're very disoriented. They're very ghetto. Every time I see a FAMU student, I feel like I'm about to get robbed. They're always wearing these shady ass clothes.
Come on, man, you're being racist.
They're always living in like these French town or ghetto neighborhoods, and
not always, bro. Come on, man.
And this is the main thing I tell people when I'm comparing FSU and FAMU. I'm like, FSU is pretty much just a bunch of white kids who get drunk and stupid, while FAMU kids are actually malicious. They actually want to hurt people.
No, they don't. You don't think you're being stereotypical?
In a way, yes.
And you don't think these stereotypes are based on falsehoods?
They're based on my own experience.
Is your own experience
Now,
maybe a little bit warped? So you think that these things happen to you or they happen to everyone?
Well, I imagine they happen to everyone. I mean, I've spoken to other people who said the same things as me. That, FAMU seems to be a bit of a run-down type of school.
Shoot, FAMU Way is nice now. It's nice out there on FAMU Way.
FAMU Way? I used to live by there. I hated that street. The only thing nice about FAMU Way is the damn skate park.
It's nice over there now. There's white people who go to school there.
Not as many as the blacks, though.
Well, no, it's a historically black college.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying earlier about, like, it seems that the people who run it want more black people to go there, but obviously they're never going to admit to that.
But why is that bad? What's wrong with that?
It's racist. It's borderline racism.
Not really. Because racism involves a power dynamic, right?
Right.
So, like, in order to be racist, you have to be overpowering something, oppressive in some way. You have to be keeping someone or some group down on the basis of race.
Right.
So that's not really what they're doing. It's kind of similar, but not really. It's like reaching to try to make it sound similar because it sounds similar on paper, but really, if you think about it, it's totally different. They're trying to be pro-black, which is a good thing.
I mean, I will also say, now this is party-wise, I like FSU's parties a lot better. What was I going to say? I mean, I've been to both FAMU and FSU parties. I've been to a couple of the FAMU nights at, the Winner's Circle nights at Pop Belly's. And oh my god, those kids are reckless as fuck.
Yeah, they're
literally in there destroying property.
Yeah, they're fucking idiots.
And that's like why I've always preferred like FSU over FAMU, because I go to an FSU themed party and people are being drunk and stupid. And
the cops can't even get these fucking
literally
FAMU kids off the fucking street at night.
Exactly.
They're in their cars playing loud music in the street, smoking backwoods.
Exactly.
Until 4:30 in the morning, right outside of DP Doe, right in front of the Onyx, and nobody will do anything about it.
Exactly. And like back to what I was saying, I go to a FSU party, and the worst thing you'll see is probably someone standing in a toilet like a dumbass. But you go to a FAMU party, and they're spraying graffiti on the fucking picnic tables.
Nah, you're funny, man.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
They are turned up different, that's for sure.
There was one time where I was at one of the Winner's Circle events at Pop Belly's, and every night, every club closes at 2 o'clock on the dot. These motherfuckers would not leave. At 2:30, cops came in, and they had to start dragging people out of the club because these fuckers would not fucking leave.
They stay, bro. And
there were even more of them fighting the cops.
That on the night that the clubs do the black promotions, like the urban night, but really it's like FAMU night, like, let's just be real. Like,
yeah, because like I know Winner's Circle is not necessarily FAMU, but I've noticed everyone who goes to Winner's Circle, it's all FAMU kids.
When they do those nights, after the after club is always at the gas station, bro, or the Waffle House. And you'll always see hella cops at the gas station or the Waffle House.
Yeah,
because then that's where they go after they finally leave the bar.
Yeah, like, you don't see that many cops outside when it's just FSU students party. You know what I mean?
But the FSU students, like, I don't even know where the fuck they end up.
Probably at a frat house or, I go to a few afters, so usually they do afters at like a frat house or whatever, but my point is...
Everyone ends up at fucking Whataburger.
That too. My point is, in my experience, FSU kids, like, yeah, we're trouble, but it's more like we're stupid trouble versus families like, I want to go shoot someone trouble.
I feel what you're saying. One's actually, kind of destructive and dangerous.
Exactly. And the other one is like
idiotic.
Yeah, like, yeah, you're stupid, but you're not gonna hurt me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
harmless.
The worst thing you're gonna do is you're gonna wreck my apartment because you're probably gonna jump up on the counter and then fall into the wall.
Right.
It's harmless, stupid. Well, I mean, I guess falling into the wall isn't exactly harmless, but it's not as dangerous as someone pulling a gun on you.
On the FSU note, though, we got some games left. We're playing Cal next week. We got California, though. Do you think we're going to win that game next week?
No.
So then we go to SMU. They're not that good, dude. What if we lose to them, too?
We probably will. The only people that I don't think we'll lose to is the Gators, just because, we beat them every single year.
They're even worse than us.
Yeah, the Gators are worse than us. We beat them every single year. But at this point, Florida State is doing so badly, I think even Miami could possibly beat our asses.
Oh, dude, Miami's really good this year. They're going to win the ACC. They're going to go to the playoffs. They're really good this year. Their quarterback, Cam Ward, was supposed to come here. He declared for the NFL draft, so then we got DJ. And then he said, actually, I'm going to go to Miami. He didn't want to come to Florida State. We didn't impress him enough. That's why I said this is on Mike Norvell. There's a lot I want to say. Back in the day, as I was saying earlier, I never really got to complete that thought. I remember the 2014 recruitment class. The year after we won the title. We had all kinds of 5 stars. But they weren't the same types of 5 stars that we got before we won the title. You see what I'm saying? In 2011, when we had the #1 recruitment class in America over Alabama, those kids were coming here to bring the swagger back to Florida State. To breathe, bleed, wear, shower, shit, garnet, and gold. All right? These kids now, and even not even now, probably for the last 10 years, since the year after we won the title, they just thought, Florida State gets all these kids that go straight to the league. Their quarterbacks go get drafted in the first round. All I got to do is go to Florida State. We're going to win a bunch of games. We're going to win a bowl game. I'm going to go to the NFL. I'm going to make millions of dollars. You see what I'm saying? And kids stop putting their heart on the line. We had diehards back in the day. LaMarcus Joyner, Derwin James, Dakota Watson. Even Jalen Ramsey was a diehard Nole, and he didn't even come from Florida. You see what I'm saying? But Jameis Winston, we wouldn't even gotten Jameis. We only got Jameis because Nick Saban was not going to let him play baseball at Alabama. And we, Jimbo Fisher at Florida State, let him play both sports. And so that's what I'm saying. Florida State's failing to get the quarterback. We had Ponder, we had Manuel. But I'm going to be honest, they really had no business getting drafted in the first round. We made them look good in a pro-style offense in a time in the National Football League that was transitioning from a more traditional style to a little bit more collegiate back in the early 2010s. So when we had these pro-style quarterbacks, NFL teams thought that it could transition well. E.J. Manuel, Christian Ponder, who went on to have somewhat moderate success, but didn't belong in the first round. So even with Winston, we got lucky to get Winston. He fell in our lap. We're failing to get the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks don't want to come here, bro. The kid Kyle McCord, he went from Ohio State last year, I think he played for. We're going to go 1-11. We're going to lose every game this year except the last game.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And Gainesville's going to laugh in our faces.
And both coaches might get fired, dude. Florida already announced they're going to move on from their coach. So I don't know what
Good, they suck. I can't remember the last time the Gators actually won a game. I mean, I also don't keep up with the Gators, obviously, because I'm in Tallahassee. But anytime I hear anything about them, they're just losing. And then it's like, sometimes when I see them criticizing us on the Barstool channels, I just want to go down to Gainesville and laugh in their faces. Because it's like, we might be doing badly now. Last year we were the fucking champions.
ACC champs,
our girls are hotter than Gator girls. Those girls are hotter than Gator girls.
I don't know, bro. I like Gator girls. That's the one thing that University of Florida has good is the girls.
Exactly, and that's my point I'm getting at. Like, Gators girls, they are hot, but they're not as hot as Knowles girls.
I don't know, bro. I think the girls here might be trashier and looser and, like, sluttier and down to get down more and a little bit more.
That's exactly what I need. I need more sluts in my life. I need more STD deprived women in my life.
Wait, what? Pause. Like, there needs to be promotion groups, like top tier. I know the kids who started top tier. They were Phi-Tals back in the day. One of my close friends, he just got married. He was a Phi-Tal back in the day. And they were making moves. Like, they got people out here. They did a lot of events, and they're still doing it. You feel me? Because who else is fucking doing it? Nobody.
Yeah.
So, like, that's what I'm saying. They need to get people, like, even FAMU, bro. They used to have promotion groups out in FAMU that would get, like, Bobby Shmurda out here and, like, litness, you know?
Yeah.
So then, you know, need to get that again.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, yo, listen, guys, podcast, we're not going to go over, you know, the amount of time that we've been going now. We were just kind of just sitting here winging it, smoking, eating some pizza, watching some football, talking some Tallahassee life. And we'll see you guys soon. We got a lot more to talk about. I think we'll have to do a part 2 real soon.
Oh yeah, we're definitely bringing you back on. Anyway, thank you all for listening, and for those who are going to complain about this later, thank you all for hating too, because believe it or not, it does help me out. So, that being said, this is the Tallanasty podcast with Adonis, and I am accompanied by Blaise. Peace out.
Peace.
Rolling by close to pass on the other. It's caught! It's caught! It's caught! Touchdown FSU! Calvin Benjamin! Knowles retake the lead with 13 seconds remaining. Knowles retake the lead with 13 seconds remaining. Arthur, looks right, with a hook and lateral. There's the lateral to the right side. Now they go back a little quick later. Pass out to the left side. They got the numbers under his X-ray Mason. Mason running to the 30. Mason to the 35. He's tackled. Game over. Knowles are the champions of college football.